Hey everybody, we are going to do a short how's it work, content showcase type of thing, and I'm going to go over attributes. I don't have the final word on all of this. I don't know if all of this is accurate. However, um, sorry, I should say we're going over perks, not attributes. So, wherever you're at, you hit O on your keyboard if you haven't already remapped it. Now you can see I'm at various levels for various things. This is my second playthrough. The first one got stuck, unfortunately to me. So you have Soldier, you have Pilot, you have Adventurer. Soldier is everything to do with you as a player looking like this, standing on a space station or on a planet, and you're using guns to shoot stuff. And they're shooting at you, and if they get too close, you hit X to use your energy sword to keep them from knocking you down. And this is just the mining laser that you would get later on. So that's Soldier. Pilot has everything to do with this right here, your ship, your weapons, how they fire, how fast your ship goes, how the agility is your speed, how much shields you have, looking on the left and to my shield and hull hit points. All of the things to do with your shield, your ship, excuse me. Adventurer is kind of like quality of life. Bank volume, ship volume, how much cargo you can hold, how many probes you can carry, how well your mining tunnels through asteroids, how much money you make on things, XP, etc. We're going to start with Soldier. So, essentially, it works in three parts. Perception is how much damage you do, endurance is how little damage you take, agility is how fast you are, and it includes recovery of your energy so that you can use these things called perks. Starting with perception, this first one, Chronon, is kind of like Sandavisten in Cyberpunk 2077. The wording here on Tier 2 is either bugged or incorrect because it does not completely reduce the slow time for you. It does more like Drift does in Pilot, where it reduces you down to 30%, whereas it reduces everybody else down dramatically. It's interesting. I would say if either this gets reworded correctly or it gets fixed to where it doesn't cause you to slow down at all, it could actually be quite impressive. Area Force, I haven't personally used this. I don't tend to let that many NPCs get close enough to me. It's usually death if they do. So I could see this being quite useful if you do a lot of the dungeons. If you're doing a lot of overland stuff, like taking the villages and whatnot, I don't see this being that terribly useful. Trip mine, and you can stack it. Again, I haven't used it, but I can see how it would be of benefit. This is useless. Ammo consume is absolutely, completely, and totally useless. The whole point, it only reduces how much ammo you use by 25%. It's terrible. Well, I should say 25% chance to use zero ammo. Ammo in the game as of 1.6.1 costs 1 TY. 1. So I have 63 million, it costs 1 per bullet. It's useless. You also get bullets every time you kill somebody. Maybe it's for a future when bullets will be scarce. I don't know. Damage boost is absolutely amazing. It's benefit. Great. Get it when you can. Now on to endurance. The max hit points definitely will help you, especially if you want to take on things that are much higher than your level. It's going to make a big difference. Dynamic shield is interesting. It does work. It puts this semi-opaque shield in front of you that kind of looks like subway tile if it was see-through. And it moves with your character. It's always in your front. um, where for 10 seconds they basically cannot hit you in your front. I don't know if they can hit your feet, but generally they can't hit you. And then if you get the tier 2, you regen 10% of your shield and armor. I think it's more novel than it is beneficial, to be honest. This guy right here, I'm working on tier 2 right now. I see it as it's your last ditch. It's literally is resurrect. You get killed, you pop back up with 25% armor and health once every 2 minutes, and hopefully don't die. It's literally just what it is. Even at tier 2, 2% health per kill is just pathetic. It needs to be like 10%, like 5%, 10%, to really be of benefit. The barricade. The barricade is cool at blocking off where you do not want the NPCs coming at you from. It has a long duration, but it can be easily dropped with damage. But it's good at blocking off a section. You don't want them coming from there. Put the barricade, and it's also see-through, but you cannot shoot through it, so it's kind of a pain, at least at this moment in time. Blink, definitely useful if you are getting rushed, and the NPC changes in 1.6.0. They do rush you more now, so I could see it being quite beneficial. I have not used it yet. We have the grenade. Obviously, grenades are useful. Ours is much better than the NPCs. The NPC has like a 10-second fuse or something. You can easily get away from it. So, turret. Turret is a joke. It does hardly any damage, but one thing it does do is it's a good deterrent. So if you drop a turret, the NPCs, usually, this is not always, won't get that close to it because of suppressing fire from it. But the turret itself does just pathetic damage. Ground Slum, I'm probably sure that's supposed to be Slam. Haven't used it, looks pretty cool. It definitely looks like it could be an interesting concept. Now, here is one that is controversial. In Pilot, I would never go for this. In Soldier, because Soldier always tends to be lacking or lagging behind, I did go for this. The problem is once you get to a point where you're up higher, you might want those 2 points back, and there's no respec at the moment. Speaking of, how you get these down here is you just, well, not that one. You just drag over the thing you want to be. Right now I only have 3, so there's only 3 of them I can have on the bar. Pilot. The first thing you want to get in Pilot is Cooler. Just end of story. All your first 5 levels, so through level 5, you're going to put reflexes in here until you get to this. So level 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I'll put it in there, it gets this level 2, because overheating of your weapons is a very serious problem early on in the game. It's a nightmare. So you definitely want to get this. After you get this, free game, do whatever you feel like. The increased damage by 4% per successful attack stacks with the one in Adventurer for 8%. You do a lot of damage, so it's definitely beneficial. I suppose I should have started over here. Damage booster, obvious. Obvious. Sharpshooter, I got this late, so I didn't get this until I was like level 30. Let's see, back off, because I got those. Probably level 35, 36. I think 36 in Pilot. Because I already have a high crit build. I run the X-M Black Ops ship, and I have a lot of crit. But with this 10%, I have almost a 50% crit chance. So, great. Now, splash damage. I like splash damage. I'm all for splash damage. And if there is enough points available to get every single one of these to tier 2, obviously you want it. I've calculated that at level 50 pilot, you should be able to have 10 of these at tier 2 of the 15. But we already know you can get to pilot 102, except that the components for your ship stops at 99. So probably you can end up getting all these anyway. So there's another one in Adventure that does the same thing. So 10%. So 10% chance when you do damage, it's going to split to two nearby ships. What is the game count as nearby ships? I don't know. Is it ships in formation? Is it ships literally right next door to the next ship? I don't know. Are they 100 miles apart? Hard to say. So coming down to willpower, increased armor and shield of your ship, definitely beneficial. I think this is the #1 thing you should get after Cooler for your ship. Your ship no longer receives any critical hits. Now, I don't know how much critical strike chance the NPCs have. Are they all different? I don't know. The dev hasn't released things like that, so maybe at this moment in time the NPCs can't crit at all. But it seems like they can, because there's even a component that reduces it too. There's 2 components. So I think this is important. Here's a reflect again. So splash damage. 200% of the incoming damage gets reflected if you absorb. So while you see I have a very low number, that was my base. My ship's base when I bought it. I have much higher than that. I'm around 16% or something now. And let's face it, anytime you can get free damage, great. But I'm not going to do this till much later. This, I feel, is also very important in willpower. And this... Shields in this game is where you want to keep your opponent. You want them to keep you in your... So you want to stay in shields. You have... let's get out of this real quick. If you look down... Here, hit H to free my mouse. Look right here. These are shield boosters. You could load 2 of them up if you want, but you have a cooldown. So you want to pop it. This thing right here will give you about 40% shields. Of your shields back, roughly. So you want to pop it when you hit just over 50%, maybe not quite 60%, but somewhere thereabouts. And it'll bring it, even if you're taking damage, it'll bring your shields right back up. But when your shields deplete and you get into this bad boy, that's why I have this, because I don't need damage output. You can run this separate, so you could have both of them running and just cycle through them. However, I like to keep them keep myself in shields as much as possible. It, to me, works better, and that's why this bad boy is fantastic. Your shields drop, 50% of all your damage drops for 15 seconds. I think that's great. Now you got to resurrect here as well. Right when you are about to be popped, you regen 15% of both shield and armor and hull, and you become invulnerable for 20 seconds, if this works. There's a lot of stuff in the game that doesn't work yet. If it does, fantastic. Alright, here's your Sandevistan for your ship. So it says, slows the time when drift is active. Alright, so you see my ship. Listen to what it says when I hit the left alt button.
Engine module offline.
So, I can't go anywhere. I can't do anything. I'm hitting the buttons. Nothing works.
Engine module online.
So, practically, this is what happens. I'm going... It's a pain in the butt when you reset it. Alright, so I'm going.
Engine module offline.
So, I'm literally drifting. I'm going the same direction I was at 91,000 kilometers a second, but without an engine. Engine back online. Now I can go back to where I was. So, in the game, they have a harder chance of hitting you while you are drifting. And this bad boy slows them while you are drifting, so it's easier to hit them. It can definitely be cool. It takes some effort to get used to using drift, but it can definitely be fun. It's close to what they did in Freelancer. It's not the same, but it's close. Warp speed bonus. So a lot of this game, you are going from this place to that place. And I mean a lot. Travel it sucks your life away in this game. It can. So I boost my warp speed wherever I can, and I'm at plus 100% warp speed. On top of being the fastest ship in the game currently, my ship 256 million meters a second. And that's only at level 38. It'll get faster as I get bigger and bigger engine. Right now, warp speed's at 65 million meters a second. I have another one on another ship that is 69. That will put me at 260 if I swapped them. Anyways, this is beneficial. This more energetic to increase your total ship's energy, your capacitor, is definitely beneficial. However, less energy is better, with the exception that it's bugged. It doesn't always work. And to show you what I mean, look right here over on this right hand side. You see this over here where it says 26/E. That means in theory this takes 26 energy per second to use, except it's always said 26E. All of these. And every once in a while, this all works based off of my talents and everything, and holographic mirror drops down to 8E, but then it goes back up to 26. So it's all bugged right now. However, it is more beneficial energy per use to use this first. Then if you get the talent points later, go ahead and pop that. Do not use this. Don't do it. Don't waste the points. You will regret it later. Maybe do it later if you just get so high in level you have extra points, but this needs to be one of your last. Now, Adventurer. This has to be the first 5 levels. End of story. Because until then, you basically can't level Adventurer. You can. There's a few bits here and there in the world where you can get a little bit. It's a huge pain in the ass. So through level 5 Adventurer, you have to do this before you do anything else. That means anytime you earn Pilot, anytime you earn Soldier, you also gain 30% of that to Adventurer. It makes a big difference. So +2 to all items in the market. The rare items, meaning epic items. Or sorry, blues or better. This is useless. Absolutely, completely, and totally useless. Don't waste your points on it, because you will have legendaries that you can purchase. You will be able to purchase all of these, and purchase all of these, and purchase all of these. There is literally no point in using that talent because and it's low. Your ship, so for Pilot, you should be able to have access to legendary guns by, I don't know, early teens, maybe level 14, 16, something like that. Soldier, depends on how you do it, can be around that level as well. Your body parts, your components do take longer because that's Bounty Hunter's Guild. But that's the only one that takes a little bit longer. This one is what I'm going for right now. Kind of wish I'd had it a little earlier, but I had other reasons. Plus 70% rewards to contracts. So let's look at Galaxy Web up here. Right now I'm looking for mercenaries. So this is payouts for level 29, mind you. 120,000, 162,000. Now I add 70% to that. Looking for Pilot. I'm at 400k and then add 70% to that. I don't know if it adds to the bounty. I haven't checked to see if it adds to the bounty. So that can definitely make use of money. And as you gain in level, stuff just gets to a level of stupidity and expensive. That 63 million, that would fit one ship. Just one ship. And not the capital ship. Alright, this guy. More bank space. I don't know if that'll be a thing that you really need anytime. I hardly use my bank. And right now there's a bug since 1.6.0 that it's deleting everybody's bank. So, fun. Compressor. This is an interesting concept. This is really just for miners. You'll end up having massive amounts, and you can compress it to a lower weight but keep the full value. So it's a reasonable thought or perk if you want to get it. Down here to luck, an extra probe. Really, I think tier 1's the only thing you would ever need. And that's once he gets the 4th probe available to be used, which is planet scanning. Because there are, like my ship, that only have 3 slots, 3 probes. I don't think there's any ships that only have 1 or 2 probes. So, signal lifetime. I'm unclear which one this is for. Signals are not destroyed until the scanner shuts down. So signal lifetime, I'm assuming, is the scanning minigame. And those things will stay there, allowing you time to perfect the minigame for longer or permanently until you shut off your probe. Your catcher probe. I think. I may be wrong on that. Adds slots to your cargo hold. Nah. I got it, but meh. I mean, the kinds of ships that you'll be flying, you're going to have plenty. It's not like going to be mine that only has 59 with plus 8. I only have 59, and I can only carry 1 captive. So here's your splash damage. The secondary to give you plus 10% chance to do splash damage. Here is your additional plus 4% successive hit, so 8% total. Down under coordination, adds 2 drones to carrier ships. Yes, thank you. You definitely want that, but you want this first. Increases drones rate of fire by 100%. Then get this. Then get this. 50% increase to warp, which will give you 100% warp. So, in my opinion, in the current way that mining works, this talent is completely and utterly useless. Even not having access to, hell, you're rank 1 of the guild, you're still going to have 4 tunnels, and all you have to do is take the Mazzactor right back to your ship, your carrier ship, put it in, pull it back out, and you got 4 all over again. It's useless. It is completely useless. And if it drills 100 straight forward, you might eat up the ore deposit in the middle anyway. So I don't like this. This, however, salvaging is not in the game yet. So this could be a very interesting perk. So yeah, that's a bit about our perks. In my opinion, for those of you that are sitting here looking at all these stats, and you can see these here, willpower's not working for some reason. That's just boosts I'm getting from these. Like this one has 24 alertness, 22 intelligence, etc. That is literally adding to my points. So I don't have 28 intelligence. The game thinks I have 28 plus 85 for all of that intelligence, which then adds all of these things. Now, one of these... Go up, go up, go up, go up. 85. Loot drop chance multiplier caps at 85. It won't go higher than 85%. So you'll never get 100% on this. I would assume 100% guarantees you loot, where 85% you still there's still a chance you're not getting any loot. or guarantees you an extra piece of loot or something like that. And experience booster caps at 40. These two are known hard caps. We found those. It is known that the true hard cap is 245 on every single attribute. Once you hit 245, nothing raises at all. So at that point, if you get to 245, you should try not to get things like this and try to get more things like this where you have increased railgun damage, increased multi-turret damage, or successful hit repairs ship's armor, which doesn't work at the moment but eventually will, instead of getting stats. So instead of having a stat stick, you want bonus stick instead, once you get to the cap, which is going to be a minute. I mean, it's going to take you a while to get there. So, playthrough. If you want the best start, in my opinion, dump all the points into reflexes to the beginning of the game. The reason is the vast majority of your combat is ship combat, and this makes you do more damage. So you can start that way. If you want a little more balanced, you're going to do reflexes more, secondary perception, tertiary intelligence. So the reason to get a little more intelligence, experience bonus for all classes. The rest of the stuff doesn't really matter, at least early in the game. It's experience bonus for all the classes. So you would do your layout, reflexes as your primary, perception as your secondary, intelligence as your tertiary. And don't bother with any other stat. This is when you're setting up your game and you're setting up all these. You start at 6 and you're setting up what you put in. I think you get 30 points, 38 points, something like that. That's how you do a balanced start. But in my opinion, the best start is just dump all of your points into reflexes. All right. I think I've talked all your ears off enough. Thanks for coming, guys. Bye.